Currently in crypto, we honestly do not know what is actually going to happen next within the markets. And I thought it would be a good idea to revisit some of the earlier projects that we've mentioned on this channel and kind of give an update on them, and realistically if we'll see any further movement from these coins. And I definitely believe so, but honestly we will have to see what happens. Now, like I've said previously in other videos, I myself have still a very big conviction that 2025, no matter what point of this year, will be great for crypto. We of course have the Trump tariffs that have definitely affected the markets. We had other events that definitely affected the markets, and we realistically did not see coming. The Trump coin, for example, as well. Now, with that in mind, realistically, investors right now honestly do not know where the markets will head next. However, there are those like myself who have kept and are holding our convictions that 2025 is going to be a good year for crypto. Now, a lot of this isn't just simply comparing this to the previous cycles, as a lot of people tend to do. I realistically don't think that is a great basis to honestly place something off of. If you're looking at previous cycles to kind of base off of what's going to happen this time, it can be a useful tool, but I don't like to say that it's a means to an end. This has clearly been a different cycle in numerous regards, as it should be. Things are going to be evolving in the crypto space. There's going to be different factors that are going to be impacting every single run we have, and this is no different. We've had Solana, meme coins, we've had a ton of different things that have definitely impacted how this market has been this year. And honestly, I'm still bullish on the markets due to the fact that I think a lot of these macroeconomic factors, these tariff wars, all of these things are going to be blown past in the near future, and we will see crypto starting to recover into a very nice $100,000 plus range for Bitcoin. But Ethereum, I think, is going to do very well as well, simply due to just macroeconomic factors. I think once this tension just blows away, investors get back their confidence, then we'll see potentially that alt season that we've been waiting for. But honestly, that is all up for grabs. It's not guaranteed. That's why I always like to tell people and myself to always consider every single scenario. And this video being Wednesday, March 19th, we are seeing things pick back up again, ever so slightly for Bitcoin, but a decent price increase for some coins that we've talked on this channel, notably Ski, which is now back above 4 cents. Still definitely lower than that 20 cent, 30 cent range where it peaked out of. But the fact of the matter is we are starting to see at least some positive price action, and we don't even have the CPI meeting today. I believe the FOMC meeting is today, which I'll have a reel out on that, depending on what happens. But honestly, I don't even think that will realistically impact the markets too much. So with all that being said, guys, that's kind of just a brief overview of where the market's currently at. A lot of choppiness, a lot of unclearness of what's going to happen next. But as you guys could see from the title, and maybe you skipped to this point, we're going to be talking about Aerodrome Finance and giving an update on this coin and why I'm ever more bullish on this coin. So as you can see right there, currently Aerodrome Finance is a 53 cent coin, where currently we're up 6 or 7% for the day as we're getting into this FOMC meeting. Now, Kraken is actually supporting Aerodrome Finance. And of course, this is on the base chain, where Aerodrome, not only being a part of Coinbase's own ecosystem, Coinbase Ventures, the essential investing component, the investing arm of Coinbase, actually is investing in Aerodrome Finance, and for very good reasons. Now, looking at TVL for Aerodrome Finance, which is a very big metric when looking at a DeFi protocol or a DEX, as Aerodrome is, we can see that Aerodrome actually in March, when this coin actually released, we saw Aerodrome having a very good TVL of around that of the 500 million to the 700 million range. It's kind of where it ranged throughout there. But then this fall and into winter, we saw it peak at $1.71 billion in TVL, where we fell back down to a current point where we are at, I believe, $800 million in TVL, which essentially is total value locked. That means people who are using Aerodrome, the money that's actually put in there from users, that is locked away, gaining interest or doing whatever the users are utilizing Aerodrome for. So that's pretty significant to look at. Now, as far as a comparison DEX that we can actually compare Aerodrome to, when looking at PancakeSwap's TVL, well, their total value locked right now is $1.643 billion. And remember, Aerodrome's, I believe, peaked in that $1.71 billion. Well, that was more than that of what PancakeSwap was. And you can see that in, of course, that 2020-21 run, that's when this TVL peaked for that PancakeSwap at a $6 billion, essentially, is where that TVL peaked. We've since seen PancakeSwap's TVL now fall to that $1.5 billion TVL, which essentially, comparing that to Aerodrome's, it's about 3 times bigger. But if you guys remember, PancakeSwap covers a multitude of different chains, whereas Aerodrome simply focuses on Base and Optimism. So that's something to keep in mind there. Now, in terms of other recent developments that Aerodrome has had in terms of its competition, we can look at this recent tweet that Aerodrome shared, sharing their comparison between the 7-day medium APR on the Aerodrome ETH to USDC slipstream pool, in contrast to the Ethereum mainnet Uniswap pool, which, as you can see, the difference is pretty big there, from a 16% from Uniswap to a 413% APR for Aerodrome Finance. Completely blows Uniswap's out of the water there, and I think that's pretty significant to keep in mind. So there's a bunch of different metrics, and that's just one example, a bunch of different ways in which Aerodrome actually does outperform Uniswap in a multitude of facets. But another thing is that fact that Uniswap does, again, have a lot of advantages against the Aerodrome, and a lot of people are using Uniswap for their day-to-day transactions. A lot of base users tend to use Aerodrome, so really you're missing a lot of the Ethereum volume going into that of Aerodrome, due to the fact that there's a ton of very well-established coins on the Ethereum mainnet that aren't so much on the Base mainnet. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But I genuinely believe that Aerodrome is just one of the best DEXs and one of the best platforms on Base in terms of a DeFi protocol. I don't think this cycle we've seen much attention towards DeFi protocols as much as we saw in the 2020-2021 cycle. There's definitely been attention on these protocols, but again, like I said, it has not been to the extent that we've seen previously. And I think that's something to keep a note of. But again, the nature of the cycle is completely different. We've seen a lot of interest in narratives, and these narratives being ever changing, almost like a store changing the items that it has for sale every month. That's almost what we're seeing with narratives. We had the AI agents, we had the Solana meme coins. There's a lot of different things that we've seen happen, and these narratives that completely define how this cycle is. And honestly, if we want to see Aerodrome do well and potentially reach, my opinion, I think Aerodrome should be worth $5-10 per coin, which is a 10-20x from here. That's not financial advice, it's only my opinion. I think that that's a solid point for Aerodrome to be at because of the value that it provides as a DEX. And like I said, there's just not too much attention on Aerodrome right now, on Moonwell, which is another DeFi protocol on the Base chain. And I think if we really want to see Aerodrome do well, we need market conditions to very much improve. And we've already discussed how we honestly don't know what will happen next. But if we want to see Aerodrome have a shot at hitting those numbers, we need to see market conditions improve as a general overall whole. And then we need to see attention focused on DeFi utility projects. And if we can have more attention focused on the Base chain, if we can have those 3 things in our focus, TVL will then increase for Aerodrome, more demand for it. then I definitely think that a $5 to $10 price range for Aerodrome is within reach. It's just a matter of we don't know where the market's going to be heading next. That is our problem. And honestly, with that in mind, I'm not looking to make any rash decisions. But again, there's my thoughts on Aerodrome Finance. I'd love to hear your guys's. Again, we're going to stick to every other day uploads for the channel. With all that being said, guys, I will see you later, and I hope you enjoyed the video.